The Austin Catholic Diocese preparing to release decades of sexual abuse allegations against its priests.
I just feel so sorry for these kids, and I feel sorry for their parents.
We investigate the laws you need to know as accusers come forward.
Is there anyone exempt from reporting sexual abuse?
No, not at all. There's no exception. You must report.
And we take an in-depth look at the steps another Texas diocese took after its own allegations surfaced.
When there is a wolf in sheep's clothing, that is startling enough. But when there is a wolf in shepherd's clothing, that is horrendous. Therein lies our grave concern.
One day before all of Texas Catholic dioceses release lists of priests they say are credibly accused of sexually abusing a minor, our investigative team is taking a closer look at what local law enforcement is or is not doing to investigate those claims.
Austin police tell us they're not working any priest abuse cases right now involving children, but the Austin Diocese list does raise a lot of legal questions. If it eventually leads to criminal charges, how does the statute of limitations apply? Who must report sexual abuse of a child? And what happens if you don't report it? KXAN investigator Aaron Cargile took these questions to a former district judge and the Texas Department of Family and Protective Services.
I just feel so sorry for these kids, and I feel sorry for their parents. You know, you put them in the safest place you think they could ever be, and then they're mistreated, molested.
But defense attorney Charlie Baird says putting someone behind bars for sexually abusing children in the Catholic Church years ago is complicated.
When did that crime occur, and could it still be prosecuted?
It depends on the law at the time. Prior to 2007, the time limit, also known as statute of limitation, on convicting someone ranged from 1 to 10 years.
Is there anyone exempt from reporting sexual abuse?
No, not at all. The Texas Family Code is very specific about this. It even mentions attorneys and clergy specifically, as in what may otherwise be privileged information. There's no exception. You must report.
Staying quiet is a Class A misdemeanor, but Baird says once 3 years have passed since the crime, you can escape prosecution. Therefore, anyone in the church who knew about the sexual abuse but never told law enforcement could be off the hook if it happened any time prior to 2016.
I mean, it's troublesome.
The Department of Family and Protective Services, whose job it is to make sure no children are in danger, says a list of possible child predators is not enough to investigate.
Names, years, diocese, it's still not the specific information that we would need to make an assessment.
These lists, while they claim to have some level of transparency, are really quite vague.
And Baird also says if he were the district attorney, he would impanel a grand jury and bring in those who put the list together, find out what information they have, and then see if that would lead to criminal prosecutions. So I called the Travis County DA's office and asked if they have a plan or if they're already working with the diocese. They say no. The cases have to be reported to local law enforcement, and then law enforcement has to refer those cases to them.
What does APD have to say about that?
Well, they told me they're also waiting for this list to come out, but again, it's not going to have specifics, so they're asking people to come forward if you've been abused, or if you have direct knowledge of abuse, then they can start investigating.
Thank you, and it is important to remember that this list may not indicate if any of those individuals on it have been charged or convicted of any of those crimes. Aaron, thanks for all your work.